everybody, welcome one and all to episode 109 of A Stitch in Time. Today is Thursday, July 25th, 2019. My name's Carol, my Ravelry name is Knitsnpurls, and I am coming to you from my home in the Fraser Valley of British Columbia, not too far east of Vancouver. A special hello to any new viewers who might be checking out the podcast for the first time. Welcome. I hope you like what you see and that you'll be back. And of course, hello to all of you returning viewers. Thanks for coming back. I really appreciate it. When I first sat down, or first was thinking about recording today, I thought, oh, it's going to be just another real quick episode because I didn't think I had a lot to talk about. And then I went shopping and broke my yarn fast. So I do have some yarn to show you and some upcoming projects to share. And yeah, just talk a little bit about what's going on. So first things first, shop the stash Cal. Knit or crochet anything you like out of yarn or fiber acquired prior to 2019. Go to the Ravelry group, chat about it in the chatter thread, and when you finished your project, post about it in the finished projects thread, and I will draw for prizes early September. The Cal ends in at the end of August. So I finally got around to sewing up the remaining project bag for prizes. So did that this week. It's this little cupcake cotton fabric. It's got this pink zigzaggy fabric inside, and the ties are also made out of that. And this, I don't know if you can tell, it's like a very pale gray and white pinstripe. So this is a bag. I cut this out way back when I first started making project bags, and this was from a tutorial that I found online, and I've since tweaked the pattern to make it bigger and change it up a little bit. So this is how my project bags look now. Great size for a sock project or a small shawl. This is another prize. And then I thought I might as well show you the remaining prizes because it's been a while since I've talked about them. So this skein of Sweet Georgia Yarns Tough Love Sock in the Modern Mandarin colorway. And I just finished a pair of socks out of the same colorway in their Cashluxe Fine yarn, and you can find that if you search my project pages. See how it knits up. And then there's also this shell kit from the Unique Sheep. It was part of a club that I was involved in a few years ago. So it's the Artemis Shawlette, knit out of this cotton and bamboo gradient set. And then Aussie Maria kindly donated a prize or a pattern of your choice from her Ravelry shop. So if you go to the chatter, the first post of the chatter thread, if you click on the link there, it takes you to her shop and you can see her designs. So thank you once again, Maria, for your generous contribution. So I actually have a finished project this week that I'm just really happy with. It is my Enver Elaine shawl by Helen Stewart, knit from Madeline Tosh Euro Sock in 3 colors. This red, give you a little sneak peek. The red here is AO or IO. There is a gray with little blips of red, green, blue, purple, and taupe. And that's called Brienne of Tarth Battles a Bear. And then just a tonal gray called Toner Cartridge. And it's an asymmetrical triangular shawl. It's actually, turns out when you lay it all out and block it, it's actually a right angle triangle is what it ends up being. You have you start at the beginning, and you increase along one edge. And so this edge remains straight. This edge takes a slant, and then the bottom of the shawl ends up at a right angle to this edge. So I will give you a look-see, and then I'll try and get more of it into the picture. You can see it's got a lace section. I'm not quite sure. It's quite sunny here today. It's actually really beautiful. Supposed to get up to about 27 or 28 degrees Celsius, which is sort of mid to high 80s. And we did have some hotter weather on the weekend. Got up to around 30 degrees or 90 degrees on Sunday. Someone commented last week, I was kind of not complaining exactly about our lack of sunshine, but she said it was better than the wildfires and smoke from the last 2 summers, and I heartily agree. Having said that, it is nice to have a little bit of summer weather again. Anyway, back to the shawl. So I'm not sure how well you can see it because there is a lot of light coming in from, well, I guess from every direction. There's like a stripy section, more lace, different section of lace, and you can see some striping here with some stockinette in between the garter. Carries on into a different lace section, quite a large one with this AO colorway, and then you drop the red and it just becomes a blend of the 2 grays after that, and I adore this section. I really, really, really love how those 2 yarns knit up together, and this section is my favorite of that. Is again this lace that has the stockinette that runs along either side, and I don't know if you can tell, but the garter is in the Brienne of Barth colorway, so it separates those plain tonal gray stripes, and I just love how that looks. Ends with the garter stitch band there. Quite a large section of lace. So let's see if I can give you a better overall look at it. There you go. So it is about 6.5-ish feet wide, about probably 4.5 at its widest point, and you could take it along this diagonal edge and wear it like a triangular shawl. I'll see if I can capture that in the camera. Let's see. Yeah, that should give you an idea. And then I could see it also kind of wearing it, you know, like that sort of bandana style. Although it's quite a large one for me for that. It's not too bad, actually. There, actually, that's pretty good. I could do that. I don't like shawls that are too big, but yeah, so super, super, super happy with the results of this one. Thoroughly enjoyed knitting it. Loved seeing how the colors worked up together. I liked that there were lots of different sections that broke the knitting up into, you know, you didn't get too bored with one section. I'm just going to lean here and drape it so it doesn't end up on the floor. Yeah, just a thoroughly enjoyable project, one that I would heartily recommend. So other than knitting on my sample sock for my one day upcoming sock pattern, I my daughter is test knitting now. The other test knitter, I won't say her name because I'm not sure if you want me to at this point. She's finished, and then Jessica's knitting them up, and then I will finalize writing up the pattern, get some photos and stuff done. Meantime, I am just continuing away on my Christmas in July socks, so named because I am knitting off of a Christmas themed sock blank from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. This is her happenstance sock blank with sparkle. I don't know if the light is catching the sparkle or not. And it is in the, I want to say twigs always, Sprigs and Baubles colorway. Super fun to knit up. I think last week I was getting close to just where I needed to add the heel. So I have done that and really haven't worked on them since. But it's a good project for, you know, when you're sitting around chatting or watching TV or something like that. And I decided to move it into my, what I call my ugly Christmas sweater bag, because why not? Christmas in July. I'm afraid they will run into August too, but that's okay. It's Christmas in July and August, I guess. So yeah, that's it for current knitting. But I have so much future knitting to talk about. And yeah, where do I start? Let me think. Let me think. Okay. I have decided, I'm really in a shawl mood. After that one, that's really all I feel like knitting right now. So I decided to revisit the second shawl in Helen Stewart's Shawl Society 4, the floating shawl. When this initially came out, I had just finished her first shawl, had lots of garter stitch. It was a crescent shape. This is like a half pie shawl. I just wasn't into it at the time. Didn't really have the right yarn on hand. For lots of reasons, at that time this didn't appeal. But I was thinking about it and I thought, well, why do I just have to knit it all in one color? I have had this yarn for quite a few years now. It is called, well, it's Hedgehog Fibers Sock. It's called Sand Castle, and it was an exclusive colorway for Simply Socks Yarn Company. And you can see it's got like the blue of the sky and the yellow of the sun and the little specks and things for sand. And, you know, Helen's theme for both her fourth Shawl Society and second Handmade Sock Society is it's like a vacation at the seaside. And I thought, what better yarn than this? And I have had it set aside with this yarn, which is also from Simply Sock Yarn. It's their Post Yarn Patina, which is a 75 merino, 15% nylon, 10% tencel yarn. It's very similar weight to the Hedgehog. Those colors just go great together. And then I've also had it sitting with this yellow, actually let's put it on that side. This is from Knit Picks. It's their, I think it's Stroll Tonal, the Golden Glow colorway. And I thought, why not knit this shawl in 3 colors? Because it takes more than just your average, it takes more than 2 skeins of your average sock yarn. I think the yarn that was used, well, not I think, I can tell you, it was Sweet Fiber Sweet Merino Light, which has 434 meters or 475 yards per skein. And the shawl used 812 or 13, I can't read it quite right, or 888 yards of yarn. in a figuring weight. So 2 skeins of anything I have on hand isn't really enough. So I thought what I would do, you can see it has a lace section along here. It's got a bunch of garter stitch with increases. So I decided that I am going to mainly use these 2 colors, but then add in the yellow at places. I'm thinking I might do that whole lace section in this bright yellow. I think it'll set it off really nicely. So this just says, you know, beach and sunshine and summer to me. So now that I've decided to do that, I'm really itching to wind things up and cast it on and see what unfolds. And then I also mentioned last week that I thought I might knit the 3rd shawl from this collection, Rock Pooling Shawl. I thought I would knit this up for my mom. It uses a DK weight yarn, and it's hard to tell in this picture, but this kind of patterning takes place here also. And this is also a 3-color shawl. Just a lot more tonal and subtle. I'm just going to see if there's another picture that might show that off more. It's really, in all the pictures, it's hard to see that differentiation between these parts. So this morning I went down to Black Cat Custom Yarn, local yarn shop, and I came up with these 2 to start with. So I'll do that. I'll do it very much like how it's knit up. So this is their double yarn. And I think that's a take on Tim Hortons coffee shop is very popular here, and I think a double is double sugar, double milk or cream in your coffee. I don't drink coffee, so I don't ever order it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So if you say double, everybody knows what that means. So this is a double base. This is called Stainless, and I chose one that actually has a bit of a purpley cast to it. This one's called Don't Blink. It's kind of a tonal light gray. And then I was debating between 2 skeins. One was very much just like this bare spot here. It wasn't bare, but it's not much color to it. But then I settled on this one, which is called Hoth, H-O-T-H, which I'm guessing is probably a pop culture reference of some sort, because they tend to have them. So again, it'll be a very subtle blend. And I know it's very much like what was used in the pattern, but I liked that look, and I also thought my mom would appreciate that too. So that's my, those are my yarn choices for that. So I don't know if you can tell, this has got some blue in it, and that's why I thought it would be kind of fun. The blue for the water and for the sky. So also looking forward to winding these up and casting that on. And being that it's DK weight, so it'll be on bigger needles and thicker yarn, that should knit up fairly quickly, more quickly than the fingering weight one. That's for sure. And then I was chatting to someone on Ravelry about shawls. She's knitting the, what's it called? Smocket shawl, I think it's called, by Stephen West. And I kind of went and looked again at some of his shawls, and I've never knit a Stephen West shawl, but one that's caught my eye is called Sea Swell, and it's a very ripply, not even lace. Well, I think it has eyelets and things, but it's not super lacy, but it looks like a lot of garter stitch in probably feather and fan type pattern. And he has two. One is I think it's a 5 skein, and it's done in kind of a fade way, a fade idea. And then there's one that's a 3 skein size. And I have, I've shown these to you before. This is the Black Cat custom yarn. This is their transmutation colorway. This is a colorway called Cosmos, and it was based on a color that my daughter had dyed up in a dyeing class there. And I had this one in my stash, which is called Dratini. So it goes for sure, but it's also very tonal, very plain next to these two. And I thought they would probably, or might have something that maybe could be used like a fade that was similar. And I found this Zubart colorway. So you can see they all blend together really well. They will make a very subtle fade. Then I started thinking, maybe I've never done like a 5-color shawl. That seems huge to me. He does refer to it as a blanket, like a sock or shawl blanket. I thought, well, that might work with that. And then I actually have a purple skein from their shop that's just a plain purple that could kind of border it on that end. I don't know, but I'm going to think about it. But in the meantime, I thought those 3 went together really well, and I think they'll be fun to knit up together. So, yep, now I didn't consider buying yarn for my mom's shawl, really breaking the yarn fast, in the sense that I really didn't have anything suitable for it in my stash. This is definitely a new purchase. And then Jessica's friend, at the same time Jessica and her daughter did the dye class, her friend Melissa and her daughter were also doing it, and they turned Melissa's colorway or dyeing class yarn, also turned it into a colorway, and they called it Starry Night. And I got it on the Blingtron 400 base because, you know, Starry Night has to have sparkles. I don't know if you can see them or not. I adore Van Gogh's Starry Night, and yeah, when I saw Melissa's yarn, it's like, oh, I'm going to buy a skein of that at some point. I was so happy they had some in stock. And actually, while I was there, they had a very similar colorway that would, in this kind of greeny color, that was hanging up next to it. And I could see that making a nice 2-color shawl. Not sure, but for now I settled for just the 1 skein. So yeah, new purchases for me. I've gone several months without buying any yarn, and I've used up lots of stash, so I don't feel bad about that at all. I've never ever technically put myself on a yarn diet before, and I didn't really this time, other than the sense I just thought, let's concentrate on using stash. That's why the Shop the Stash Cal came along. But yeah, I felt just great about my purchases today, and I am so excited about casting on. Not sure when that's going to happen. Tomorrow tomorrow afternoon and evening I'm taking part in a golf tournament with one of the women that I curl with. She belongs to a golf club, and they're having a ladies tournament, 9 holes and dinner afterwards. And she had asked if, she'd asked the whole curling team if we wanted to participate. I know my sister Allison's away. I think I might be the only one of the curling team that's playing too, but I'm not sure. In any case, it'll be lots of fun. I just turned the page and realized before I start talking about life, I'll just talk a little bit about what I'm reading. I finished Appointment with Death by Agatha Christie. I had figured out who done it, which is a rare thing for me, and I don't know for sure if it's because in the back of my mind I'd remembered, or if I just put two and two together. And I didn't have all the details nailed down, but I did have the right person, so felt good about that. And my husband recently read Chasing the Dime by Michael Connolly, and he really raved about it. I haven't read any Michael Connolly. He's read tons and tons of him, and anyway, I decided it's time to try one. So I've got it downloaded on my Kindle, ready to go, but I haven't started it yet. Okay, back to my life. So yes, golf tomorrow, and then we have ball all weekend. It's our year-end ball tournament. For those of you who are new, my husband plays slow pitch, and I keep score for his team. And we've been with the same team for 25-ish years. So I think there'll probably be 3 games on Saturday, 1 for sure on Sunday, and then depends on if we win or not, whether we go on from there. We don't win very many. I think we ended up with 2 wins and 1 tie this year. Anyway, we'll probably end up just playing 1 on Sunday, and then on Saturday night we've invited the team back for barbecue at our place. That's something we do our various tournament weekends. Gather at somebody's house, just bring whatever meat you want to cook on the barbecue, bring a side or dessert to share, and we just get together, have fun. So we're doing it here this week. So last weekend, Cameron and I spent all day Saturday doing yard work, weeding and trimming and all those fun things just to get the yard looking good for company. So it was a big job, and it was quite hot. By the afternoon it was hot. But it felt so good to get it done. I've been looking at especially our front yard, and the weeds had just taken over. So it was a big job to clear them, but just looks so much tidier now. Well, I was out there this morning doing some watering, and already, like, I just weeded there, and where did all the new ones come from? It's not even, what's today? Thursday. So Saturday to Thursday, we're already full-grown weeds again. Where do they come from? Let's just see. Oh, I don't know if you remember, probably a couple of months ago, I had a little bit of footage, and I was talking about the rabbit we had living under our deck that we saw quite regularly for a few weeks. And then we had, I guess it was when we went up to the cabin in June, I guess. Anyway, whenever we had been away and came back, we hadn't seen it again. And this week we've been seeing a rabbit, whether it's the same one or a different one, but I actually saw 2 the other day, and one seemed smaller than the other. I don't know if it's the same rabbit or not. I don't know if it's the same rabbit and a new member of the family. I'm not sure, but actually just before started recording, I looked out and saw it nibbling at the grass. It seems to have pretty well left the flowers alone. Just seems to be after the grass now, which is fine. So the rabbits are back. And then on, I think it was Sunday, as many of you know, we back onto farm fields. And we often see eagles and hawks flying around, and at this time of year we see quite a few turkey vultures, and they have a really neat swoop to them when they fly. And normally we just see them flying. It's very rare that we ever see a turkey vulture, you know, still. And I never have back behind our place ever. And the other day there were 3 that landed in the field, and it appeared that one was eating something. And whether it was parent and 2 young ones, or whether it was just 3 adults, I really don't know. The thing about birds is once they're out and about flying, the babies by that time are basically the same size as their parents. And depending on the bird, might have the same coloring. Like an immature eagle doesn't get, a bald eagle doesn't get its white head and tail feathers for a couple of years. So you can tell sometimes when it's the parent and the juvenile. In this case, they all looked the same. But I was able to zoom in and get some footage. And I have to say, they have a face only a mother could love. They are probably the ugliest, if not one of the ugliest birds there are, but quite cool to get a close-up look at them. So I'm gonna put a little bit of footage in here so you can enjoy it too. Got a little bit of them on the ground and then flying, so you can get the idea. Coming up is, coming up on next Thursday, we are going away for a long weekend. So there isn't going to be a podcast next week. There will most likely be one the following week. That's my intention anyway. And with all the new and stash yarn, new cast-ons, with all the new cast-ons, there should be lots of knitting to show you. And definitely I'll have car knitting because it takes us, I think, about probably 2.5 or 3 hours to get where we're going. And I'm sure we'll have, we'll have lots of travel time anyway. So should definitely have some more knitting to share with you in a couple of weeks. And so that just leaves me with something good for this week. And I decided my something good this week was going to be my husband Cameron. We are celebrating our 35th wedding anniversary on Sunday. We have been together for 37 years. And he's just a wonderful man who I truly love, and I'm so happy to have met and had him as part of my life for all these years. And I think that's, especially this day and age, something to say, that you can be together that long and still be happy, which I am. So our little getaways to kind of celebrate our anniversary. So probably a little sappy, but that's my something good. So hope you all have a fabulous couple of weeks. If you are on summer holidays yourself, enjoy yourself, stay safe. Those of you in the southern hemisphere, stay warm and enjoy your cozy knitting weather. So take care until I talk to you again. Bye for now.